So talk about the transition and the length of years and the moving around out there, finding and creating and discovering coming from Chicago to LA. How's that been for you?
The transition wasn't bad at all. I literally worked my Chicago connections. As soon as I left LA, I didn't necessarily had I was putting out feelers, and of course, Bob and George are from Chicago. And so Sergio, who's actually a part of Black Harvest, I knew of Bob, but I didn't know him, but he made a connection. He introduced me to Bob, and then Bob, from there, I got an internship working at State Street Pictures. And so that was the first thing I did when I moved to Chicago, and while looking for full-time work. And then I landed my first job at Disney, and I worked there for a while as a PA. And then my career just like transitioned in terms of like working in the industry. And then I got into like more of the business side, the business production side of the industry. And so that's pretty much what I've been doing while writing and directing films, trying to get my first feature film off the ground.
That's awesome. I told you I want to come out there and be in it whenever that time
comes. Yeah. You did, Harold. I won't forget.
So you know what? Like, I saw this documentary years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I think, about a Tribe Called Quest, right? And one of the music producers was saying how he was waiting for a Q-Tip to drop off the album, and a couple of days became a couple of weeks became a couple of months, and realized that unless he said, "Give me the damn album," he would never get the album, because Q-Tip apparently is such a perfectionist that he's always going to be tweaking and doing this and that. And I say that to say I know how writing is rewriting. So how do you know, or when do you know that when you've written something, go, that is good, that you feel comfortable going to the next phase of producing, writing, directing it? When do you know?
For me, like the last film that I did was a short, and I just put myself on a deadline. I knew, because I do work full time in the industry as well. Like I really have to plan out when I'm going to shoot.
Right.
So I'll say, okay, I'm going to workshop this, until this is when I want to shoot. So I'll know that I have to put myself on a schedule. And then I really don't go into production until I've gotten the green light from my writers group. Oh, this is solid. And I'll send it out to a few industry friends to get feedback on it. And if they say it's okay, this is good, or you ready to go, then that's my sign. And also, for my last project, I put it in a couple of competitions, and I'll get coverage. And so, I'll submit for coverage. I think Blue Cat is good for short films, and so I submitted it for that, and I got really good feedback from the reader, and so I knew it was ready. So that was my cue for that it was ready, and I'm just really working on the script and getting feedback as much as possible. I probably wrote like 7 or 8 drafts before I went into production. And then after the table read, after I cast it, I probably would do one more tweak based on the reading that I'm getting from my actors and how they're feeling with the lines and stuff. So I may do like a tweak. It's not a major tweak right before production, and then I just go.
So like most of us, most people are at home. I mean, it's like the 10,000 ton elephant in the room. So how have you been dealing with being at home the last few months? Have you found yourself being more creative or less creative, or how have you been dealing with this home confinement that everybody's under so far?
I do have the pressure to be more creative. I do think I think I was on a creative kick before the corona, the pandemic, because I just came from Africa, and
nice.
And I knew I wanted that I wanted it to be like open up a realm of creativity while there. So I really focused on that and try to fuel my creativity. And so when I came back a week later, we were on quarantine. So I still been quite busy, although I'm home. Like I still work my day job. And then I'm writing before and after. And then there's a lot of organizations that are offering webinars. So I've been attending a ton of webinars. A lot of people in the industry have been making themselves available, which is really cool. So it's almost like getting another layer of education while in quarantine. So I'm just really, I feel like I'm making the most of the time. I am trying to, use this opportunity to take a step back and kind of relax since I'm always on the go. I think I've been dealing with it pretty well.
So you did a web series a couple years ago, Man of the House?
Yes.
And raising money for that. Do you find that raising money for, and it's how many episodes was that, first of all?
It was only shot 3 episodes.
Great. So do you find it challenging raising money for indie film, and what different tactics do you use to try to get money up for a project?
Oh my God, it is so challenging. Man of the House was a learning experience for me in terms of crowdfunding.
Right.
It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
If I can self-finance, I will. I did self-finance my latest project, which was a breath of fresh air that I was able to do that. That's the reason why I have a day job, so I can finance projects. But crowdfunding is hard. It is like, you need a team. You need to like really be innovative in how you market. It is a good way to build the audience for the project once it's on service. I like crowdfunding. I think it's great, especially for people who don't have the access to capital to finance their projects. But you really do need to be strategic about it, and you need a team. Seed and Spark does this really great presentation on crowdfunding that I went to, and if I had to do it again, I would totally follow their format of how to crowdfund and distribute your film.